here talking about the first race of the year for me. It's a practice crit, it's a training crit, so there's no results. It's just part of a mentorship for juniors and beginners at Cat 5s, and so I come and I help mentor through like a skills clinic. And so I did the skills clinic, I mentored the juniors race and the Cat 5s race, and so now we're doing kind of the open race. A lot of the mentors and other local kind of 1, 2, 3s come and do this. Guy in front of me, Fulton, Jamin, he's got a team. It's got about 5 strong dudes. You can see right here, right off the bat, we're going pretty hard. And behind me, Joe Booth is part of that Fulton crew. And those guys are going to make a break happen, 100%. It's what's going to happen. So I really need to play this smart. I need to ride smart. I need to not go to the front when I don't have to, and I need to surf wheels. But look, 3 Fulton guys at the front of the group right here. This dude in the Revis, he also has 2 other teammates. So the whole front of the race, right off the bat, again, right there is another Revis guy. 6 guys, 2 teams spread across them. Right there, Cortex, they also have 2 guys. So other than them, everyone else is solo. So 3 teams with 2 guys, and then 5 guys. And look, my fitness is not great right now. My overall form isn't bad because my fatigue is so low, but I got sick. 10 days off the bike, totally, would have been dead 200 years ago type sick. And I'm just sort of clawing back into that high intensity, done some Zwift races to try to help, but I do not have matches at all. 0. I got none. Right? I got no effort to do. I've got to ride as smart as I possibly can. And that's what we're talking about, is how to kind of race with no fitness, right? So I'm going to do the best I can to just try to sit in and not work when I don't have to. And you can do that by kind of knowing where the race is going to get fast, where there's a good time to move up. This is a small field, so pack position isn't as important as other races, but still, I've got to pay attention to who is in this pack. And right here, a move goes up the road, and this guy at the front of our group, his teammate is in that move. So I'm looking at Sean Bagley because he's a past state champion. I know he's strong. I know that he's not going to just allow that to just go away, and I'm seeing him weave through the pack. So this is a great opportunity for me, who has no fitness right now, to lean on a guy who has fitness. He's been racing a lot of SoCal stuff, so I know that he's got it, man, and he's gonna drag me up to those guys. Now, I don't think a break's gonna go right away, but it's gonna go soon. And so I don't want to burn a ton of matches chasing things down that are going to get brought back anyway. So I'm looking for those opportunities. You can see behind me, everyone is pretty fresh. I mean, I think this is lap 2, right? So everyone, no matter how strong one guy versus another guy is, right? I might be the weakest one here, and then there could be the strongest guy here. But this early on, everyone kind of equalizes each other. And so the attacks are hard and they're stinging, and I really can't get myself caught up in that. But this Sean Bagley moves off. I don't know why he did that. But Joe Booth right here, I can't let him go because this dude's a past state champion for time trials. He's got the big team. I got to pay attention to that move. So I'm really trying to pay attention to moves, just like this one goes right here. I gotta pay attention to these moves, and if I can not allow a huge gap to open up, because I know I hit 500 watts or 600 watts right there, but it's such a short amount of time. And Jonathan Aropkin here comes blasting past us. Things are getting strung out, gaps are opening up, and he just hammers the front for like half a lap. And you can see I'm sort of losing the wheel of the guys in front of me, which is not good. This is not what I want to be doing. I want to try to be more efficient than that. It's just, man, I'm a little rusty when it comes to turns for crits. But again, everyone is so fresh that, yeah, this is hurting everyone in the group, but not enough to create big separations. So Jonathan flicks off, he looks back, kind of assessing the damage right? Like, okay, is there anything here to work with? Everyone's there though. So if there isn't big gaps, you don't want to just keep hammering on the front. For anyone, even if you have great fitness or not great fitness, you don't want to just hammer on the front all the time. Now, about 2 laps had passed, and the Fulton and Rivas guys were just hammering on the front. They were just drilling it. I don't really know why. They were just keeping it so fast. And so I'm sort of falling back to just, look, I want more draft. I want 10 guys in front of me. And as soon as I do that, a move goes up the road, which is so funny that it's like as soon as I kind of get out of position. But it's just one guy, so not that big of a deal, right? It was a Rivas guy, so he's got 2 teammates. But then Joe Booth, Fulton, goes to make that move. And so now it's getting a little more interesting because now we've got the 2 bigger teams. And so I'm looking at Lance right here. He's also got a teammate. And all of a sudden, like, all the math is going off in my head. And I'm processing on what I should do. Because this guy has a guy in the move. Guy right here is the teammate of Lance that's up there. And so pretty much everyone in front of me is not going to chase that. And I kind of make a decision that I can close this gap right now without really burning any match. I'm not gonna burn a match. I'm not gonna go totally in the red. And I do get a good sized little gap. If everyone had been on my wheel, I probably would have shut it down right away. But I need to get onto Lance's wheel right now because he is going to go all in to close down this gap. And I need that free ride. I don't have the fitness to close down the gap like he's going to do. I could close down the small gap, the little tiny gap to him, and then you can see we got a good sized gap. So I'm super stoked, but Lance is suffering, man, because he's having to make that huge move.
Oh! Yeah, go!
I'm yelling at him, go, 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 trying to get us to work together, trying to tell them, look, we have a gap, let's do it. Lance has to pull off though because he made the big effort to close it down. And I benefited from that. So I'm not gonna force him. I want this to work. I want us to start working together because we have all the team, we have the players to make this work. Lance is just dying though. And so I don't know that really. I'm just trying to keep it steady at the front because the move hasn't officially broke, right? It's just sort of, there's gaps everywhere and we do have a decent gap, but it's not, you wouldn't consider this a breakaway just yet. And so since I don't have the fitness to continue to counter attacks or go with moves, I really need to make sure that I'm not dying on the front. It's touch and go, and I'm really trying to do my best to conserve as much energy as possible because you can see that right now it's sort of split. There's a front group and a back group, but there's not much of a gap. But it all comes back together, and then the Fulton guys, these 2 Fulton guys attack on cue. Perfect timing because everyone had kind of been on the limit. You know, they're in the red, and then those guys got a free ride up to the move. They attack. Sean Bagley was in the move I was in. We were in it together. So he flicks his elbow, and it's like, this is not what I want to be doing. I do not want to be closing this down, especially when we've got a huge group of people behind us chasing, because I'm not going to be able to counter or go with another counter. But you can see we've got a little bit of a gap, and then the Rivas guy really kind of saves the day for me. He goes to the front, and Sean also comes in there. And so now we're working pretty well together to bring that back. And then I don't know what happens here, but Sean pulls off. And this is, Jonathan Ropkin makes this huge bridge to Sean. Poor Ropkin's like, yes, I made it to the move. And then Sean just drops off. I don't know why he did that. I think that maybe he thought everyone was coming back together, or that this move was doomed. But Sean kind of stopped a Ropkin from getting to us and then created that separation. And so I'm super pumped now because we've got all the players we need to make this work. We've got 2 Fultons, so they've got 3 teammates in the back. We've got a Rivas guy who has 2 teammates in the back. So, I'm sitting really, really good. And we're all working pretty well together. But again, I don't want to go super in the red yet. I don't want to go all into the break because I don't know, our gap is so small. I mean, it's like 10 seconds, right? 10, 15 seconds. So I'm going to keep it zone 4. I'm not going to go zone 5, or try not to. Right now I am, but that's when they're pulling through. But then check this out. The Fulton guys has another one of their dudes bridge. Man, he bridged that huge gap. So now we have 3 teammates in this move, which makes me a little bit worried because then the rest of the group, is probably gonna be more motivated to chase. But with 3 Fulton guys in this group, they're gonna work really well together. They're gonna pull really well, and they'll probably have 1 or even 2 of their guys just slay themselves for, to get the win. So I am super happy right now, but I've got to make sure that I do not go into the red. And 2 of these break mates actually end up going way into the red and then drop themselves out of the break, which is so easy to do. It's so easy to go, because everyone here had to go really, really hard to make this move. And since I don't have much fitness right now, I don't have high-end stuff, if there's attacks, if there's surges, man, it's gonna be hard for me to respond to it. You can see right here, the guy who had made that bridge, dude, he's just on the rivet, suffering. But his teammate fills in the gap, and it's just really works out well. Again, by having 3 of those teammates together, it's fantastic. So I go to the front, and now this is it. The move's done. We have probably 30 seconds, 35 seconds. So now I'm gonna start going more in the red, right? I'm really gonna try to push the pace of this break. I always aligned my pulls with everyone, the crowd, so that they could see that I was pulling. I gotta look cool, dude. But right here, the Rivas guy to my left, you can see he just pulls the parachute, man. Bam, gone, out. And he was legitimately probably the strongest guy in the group. I mean, he was so strong, but he just wasted all that energy on the front. And then what's a bummer is that he had 2 teammates sitting into the group, not doing anything, helping him be in that break. And then he got himself dropped out. And it just happens. You get really excited to get into a break, and then you just, you pop. Next lap, I go to the front, and then look, I hate bikes. The guy who made that bridge just never was able to recover. The pace was too high. So now he gets popped. And again, I'm trying to look super aero because, I need more subscribers. So I'm showing them that I look cool. And now we have a break of 3. And the other 2 guys that just dropped out, they totally helped push the gap. And so now, man, we are sitting pretty. And so then basically we got into this scenario where we chose certain areas to pull. I was green, Root was blue, Jamin was yellow. So you can kind of see that every single lap we had this rotation, and that's the perfect scenario for a breakaway, is when you know when someone's gonna pull off, so there's no confusion, there's no, hey, you pulling, am I pulling? We'd always make our pulls on that certain section. And my section was the tailwind, and that's really important because I can sustain the same pace or overall speed with a certain amount of energy, but everyone else is gonna have to sustain, say, 26 miles an hour, 27 miles an hour. They're gonna have to go way harder because there's the wind. So it was pretty nice that we were able to get into that rotation. I tried to skip some pulls here because the teammates, right? And I think there's only 3 laps left to go. We worked really well for a while, but this is towards the end. And Jamin was like, nah, man, we're not playing games yet. And so I gotta get back in line, fall in line. Hey, let's not let this thing dissolve, because again, I really need to make sure we're working as a group, because I don't have the match to burn if we start attacking each other. And the group isn't far behind us. It's like maybe only 20 seconds at this point. But with 2 laps to go, I have all the right to just sit in and say, look, you guys are the teammates. You're gonna have to pull. And so then Jamin kind of falls in line, and they just sort of get and understand, hey, I'm sitting on. So now they've got to try to lead each other out to create a really nice sprint. Now look, we go into the last lap and my front GoPro turns off. It ran out of space. Such a bummer. I apologize. There is no last lap on the front, which is super annoying. But I am sitting here so pretty, and I'm gonna show you a little animation of kind of what happened. I'm grinning from ear to ear because I am in the perfect position to win this race. Jamin is going to lead out Root, and I will just sit on his wheel the whole way and come around. But at the back end of the course, Root attacks with half a lap to go, and it totally took me by surprise, and I was not able to close the gap. And so he just rocketed away from me, and I was never able to get on his wheel. This is where it happened from the rear facing camera. He goes and I hesitated. I just didn't think he was gonna go that early. Like, in all honesty, it was a horrible move for him to do at that point because I was on his wheel, but I just didn't expect him to do that move. And I hesitated, the gap opened, and I just could never close it down. But just, I think a little bit of rust, just not really being on the ball. You know, we were pretty much in a break for almost the whole race. And I got caught sleeping. Not good. But look, second place. And man, Root, the guy who won, is super duper strong. So I have no qualms with him destroying me. But look, first race, 2018, bad fitness, and I get second. I hope that I can carry this through the rest of the year and really race smart. As always, Vegan Cyclist. Yeah.